Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. City Council meeting on August 19th, 2025. Please note that all council members are present. We have a lot of people in this room. It's warming up in here. First on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If Vice Chair Hyden.
Yes, if you can stand, please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you will, take a moment of silence with me. Thank you. Next on our agenda is acknowledgements. Are there any acknowledgements from the council members or mayor? I always look at you, Councilmember Chaburger.
Sorry, I'm
sorry.
like,
hey.
Well, I'm pretty sure someone else will acknowledge this, but we had a terrible loss in our community in northern Utah right this past week, and just to give my my sympathy to the loss of the Tree Mountain officers.
Thank you. Any others? All right. First on our agenda is a recognition of, I can say retired Chief Mike Matthew right now. So, Councilmember Blair.
Thank you. I don't know how I got so lucky to get to do this, but I am truly honored to be able to read this tonight. To me, it's kind of like retiring a jersey of a great one. But after reading over this, it feels like, and you'll all hear many wonderful things that Chief Matthew did. There's a reason we don't retire jerseys, because he made the department so great. We'd retire them all. But it's an honor for me to be able to highlight a little bit of what Chief Matthew accomplished here in Ogden City and throughout the state. And it reads, the Ogden City Council and Mayor proudly recognize Mike Matthew for providing invaluable contributions to the Ogden community. After serving for nearly 50 years in fire service in Weber County, including the last 39 with the Ogden Fire Department and 30 years as the fire chief, Mike Matthew made a lasting impact on the Ogden community. His career in Ogden City began in 1986 as one of the department's first firefighter paramedics, and he climbed the ranks to become the fire chief in 1995. His exceptional leadership, work ethic, and vision have not only shaped the culture and capabilities of the Ogden Fire Department, but also influenced emergency services throughout the entire state. Chief Matthew has been a driving force behind many key initiatives that have strengthened the public safety and expanded access to care. He helped establish the Ogden Fire Department as Weber County's leader in advanced life support and medical transport. He led the creation of the Weber Morgan 911 Dispatch Center and co-founded the Mobile Crisis Outreach Team, a statewide model for integrating mental health into emergency response. His community, paramedicine, and medical advocate programs have helped countless residents to critical care. After nearly 5 decades of dedicated service to the greater Ogden area, Chief Matthew is retiring. His dedication and commitment to excellence have transformed the Ogden City Fire Department into a model agency, widely respected throughout the entire state. His influence on community safety and emergency preparedness will benefit Ogden for many, many years to come. We wish him the best in his future endeavors and are excited to see what he accomplishes in this next chapter of his life. With that, I present this to former Chief Mike Matthew.
picture, aren't we?
I hope so. Before you sit down, let's take a picture. First or last?
We need to have your wife come up and family.
Your family?
Much better half. She had a lot to do with some of the successes I was involved in. She of her 911 things.
Scoot over. There we go.
Find a window. There you go. All right. Here, 1, 2, 3. One more for insurance. 1, 2, 3.
Chief, we want to hear from you.
It's really hard because I had the retirement reception, and there's a couple of things I want to mention about a couple of people that are really important to me that I didn't mention enough at the retirement reception. But I'll say this has been nothing but a privilege to serve in public service and to serve the community of Ogden. And to have the ability and to have the fortunate situation to serve 4 separate mayors, all of which could have said, we're going a different direction. In the appointed arena, they could just decide that you're done and you move on. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work and serve 4 separate mayors, which was nothing but short of a privilege and an honor. Public service is nothing short of a privilege to serve others to the best of your ability, because when you go home, when you've done it well and done it as well as you could, it matters, and it means something to each and every community member that you make a difference in. And it got to the point for the last 30 years, I was supporting the wonderful men and women who got to do that every day. I supported them and tried to do my best to support them so they could perform to their best of ability. This department was never my department. It was always ours, and it always will be ours. It'll always be a team, and it'll always be everyone pulling their weight, providing an environment for everybody to be successful. And hopefully that's what's occurred over the last 30 years, because I tried my best to serve to the best of my ability to the community of Ogden. But there's 2 people that I must, I've had a few weeks to think about this, and I must thank very much so. And I'm going to start with the personal one, with Tina. And many of you may know that she ran the Weber 911 Center. And she's moved on to Utah Communications Authority, doing wonderful things for all of public safety throughout the state. And when she was the director, though, one of the reasons we have such a wonderful personal relationship as well as a work relationship is our passion for improving the service we performed. And she did some wonderful things in our 911 center that improved our ability to serve our customers better, so we were able to arrive sooner, quicker, with the necessary information we had to do. It was through her creativity, through her innovation, sometimes through discussions in a hot tub, that we came up with ideas that actually made a big difference in the way we serve the community. And so I can't thank her enough for her passion, her commitment to public safety as a profession, for law enforcement, for fire, for EMS. And I wanted to thank her and her family for being there. But the last one I want to thank, I'd like to embarrass a little bit, but it's my administrative assistant, Michelle Scripp. And I'm glad she's here, because that person is one of the most key persons that a fire chief needs to have as a partner. And my wife used to refer to it when she worked at the Layton 911 Center. Chief Keith, the police chief, was her work husband. And so Michelle was somewhat of my work wife, not in the sense that you might think, but in the sense of a partnership, of confidentiality, of feedback, of you used to do it this way, why are you doing it that way, of reminding you of some of the things and the way you did things, and keeping you square, so to speak, in terms of how to run the organization professionally, how to maintain it professionally. And it really means a lot, because when an employee comes in and maybe they've misstepped as an employee, it's not everybody's business. It's confidential. It's not shared. We didn't have office gossip. It didn't occur, because she understood confidentiality. She understood professional behavior.
And so for that reason, I want to publicly thank her very much for her being my partner, which is a different kind of partnership than, say, an assistant chief or deputy chief or some of your battalion chiefs, because they're equally important. But this kind of relationship, to make sure you run an organization soundly, fairly, without discrimination, you need a second set of ears and eyes and feedback to remind you of what's right and what's wrong when you're maybe thinking a little bit emotionally and not logically. And she would remind me a day later, okay, that was the emotional side of Mike. Let's talk logically. And then I would probably make a better decision. So I have a whole lot to thank her for. She helped me perform better as a fire chief, and I wanted to publicly thank her. And that's it. Thank you very much.
I'm sure there will be plenty of things that we would like to say, but Mayor, would you?
Chief, before you go, it's good to see you again. Retirement seems to be treating you well. I've heard good things. You might recall at your retirement luncheon, we reserved our gift until this moment. So if you'll indulge me for a moment. First, I want to say that your goal of embarrassing Michelle worked. Yeah, I watched your face as soon as you said it.
You didn't have to have the Weaver State Spirit Squad come for me, but
Right. Yeah. Well, we're just so excited to celebrate your exit. No, I'm kidding. No, I just want to say Mike Matthew is a man who has given a lot to the city, and very few people will ever understand what it takes to be a public servant at the level of which he has been. Anybody who works in this building knows that these are thankless jobs, that these jobs are an absolute grind, that there are critics everywhere we go. And no matter how hard you work or how hard you try, there's always somebody that's chipping on you. And in spite of that, we always look ahead. We always keep our chin up, and we always continue to press forward. We give everything that we have to the city, and we do it every day. And we get knocked down and we get back up and we keep grinding, because that's what we do. It's the care and the passion that we have from the mission and for the city and for the people. And nobody understands that more than Mike Matthew. I don't say that lightly, but this city owes this man a lot. I know that I do as a mayor and as a new mayor, and having seasoned leadership to help give me input and advice in my early tenure is something that's pretty priceless. And he also developed a department that is incredible. And we've seen just how incredible our fire department is just in these past weeks and months. This has been a really hard summer on this department. And every single one of them continues to step up and stand out. And when any other neighboring city needs their help, they show up and they serve, and they do it professionally, and everybody sees it. And they remark back to me about how incredible you guys are. This department is outstanding. And that's the context of which we created this gift for you, Mike, is that we know that you've worked for 4 mayors, and there's 3 of us that are still standing. They're still here today. And we were able to find keys to the city for every mayor that you've served under who's still living. And we reached out to him and asked for a personal remark. I'll read my own. Your legacy isn't just in the years you served, it's in the people you shaped, the standard you set, and the strength you leave behind. You made our city stronger, and we're prepared for tomorrow. And your legacy of leadership will always stand as a testament to the Ogden way. Mayor Benjamin K. Nadolski. Chief Mike Matthew, it's my honor to give this to you as a key to the city, but it's also my honor on behalf of Mayor Matthew Godfrey and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell to give you 3 keys to the city for all 3 mayors in which you've served.
I don't think they really open the doors, though, so don't try it. Comments? Good, thank you. Comments from the council members? Council?
Chair, I would just say I want to thank Tina also. I just know that the ability for Chief Matthew to do the job he did required a lot of support from his wife. So thank you so much for what you've done as well. You're the unsung hero here too. So thank you.
Other council members? Yeah.
Thank you so much for your leadership. I really appreciate it, and I feel like you're one of my friends, so I appreciate you. Thanks you. Have a wonderful retirement.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. We're going to miss you around here, and me in particular. You always show up with a smile, and it's a contagious one. Thank you for that, and thanks for your leadership, and best of luck in your retirement.
I just want to say thanks as well. Just one quick memory. My son was the student body president at Ben Lomond High School, and they had an event that they were trying to get passed off, and it involved fire. And he was amazed that the chief called and talked to him specifically about what they were trying to do. And that's the level of service that, again, he just shows over and over again. But yeah, I don't know if you remember that conversation. I'm sure you do.
Mike, just want to say congratulations and thanks for many, many years of outstanding service to our city. Well done.
Chair, can I go real quick?
No, you had your chance.
Yeah. Mine will be quick. I've always lived my life under the model bloom where you're planted, and I applaud Chief Matthew for growing up here, staying here, and truly making Ogden, not only Ogden better, but making Ogden a light, a beacon for everyone else in the state. And I applaud your efforts, and I thank you for the legacy that you've created here and that you've passed on to all of us.
And Chief, a lot has been said about, and I want to thank you as well about your leadership and your sacrifice and commitment to keeping us all safe. One of the things, and thank you, Councilmember Blair, one of the things that I think we forget about is the legacy. And the legacy that you've taught me is courage and commitment and integrity. And that goes, that's hard to find sometimes, to pass from one leader to a council member. And I really appreciate that. What I want to say to you, though, is as you trade your fire boots in for your golf shoes, that I hope that those drives are straight, that the putts drop, and that your journeys will always be of joy. So thank you so much for all that you've done. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. You can stay if you want. This next part's going to be kind of fun, too. They said you had to leave. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks, Chief.
Well, as people are departing, the next item on our agenda is the Weber State University Spirit Squad. Has anybody left at school since you're all sitting? Councilmember Myers.
Madam Chair, it's my privilege to acknowledge today that the average age of attendance at the City Council meeting today is about 30 years lower than normal. So thanks to the Weber State Spirit Squad National Championship team for being here today. Thanks for bringing smiles and for cheering on our former Chief of Police. And just kind of beautiful to have you all here today to add a little extra pump and vigor and stamina to that recognition that we gave to our fire chief, our former fire chief. It's my privilege at this time to read this recognition for the Weber State Spirit Squad. The Ogden City Council and Mayor proudly recognize the 2025 Weber State University Spirit Squad for earning national titles and bringing pride to Ogden City. For the second consecutive year, the Weber State University cheer and dance teams have achieved national acclaim by capturing 4 national championships at the National Collegiate Cheer and Dance Championships in Daytona, Florida. The cheer team earned grand national titles both in small co-ed and large co-ed divisions, while the dance team secured the Grand National title in jazz and the Division I national title in hip hop. Beyond their athletic success, the Weber State Spirit Squad continues to make meaningful contributions to the Ogden community. Their participation in local events, school functions, and civic celebration bring excitement, pride, and unity to residents of all ages. Through their energy, professionalism, and school spirit, they serve as exceptional ambassadors for both Weber State University and Ogden City. We commend the athletes and the coaching staff led by Spirit Squad Director Summer Willis, dance coach Erica Jordan, and small co-ed coach Matt Torres for their unwavering commitment and outstanding accomplishments. Their continued success is a testament to the values of hard work, unity, and passion. We look forward to cheering them on in the future and are confident their tradition of excellence will continue on for many years to come. Presented this day, the 19th of August, 2025, signed by our chair, Marcia White, and by Benjamin K. Nadolski, Mayor of Ogden City. Madam Chair, just want to express thanks to all of you for the outstanding job that you've done, the recognition that you bring to our community, to Weber State University. We are so proud of you today. And I would like to invite Coach Summer Willis to come forward with the other coaches to receive this applaud. You're raising your hands. I'm not sure what that means. Is that applause or please come forward. We can invite all three of you to come up.
No, you grab it.
She's going to take it.
That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We're proud of you.
Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Yes, Summer, this is where we present this to you, and we'll get a quick Matt, step in closely, and both of you, coaches.
That's great. Well, yeah, you can hold that. So yeah,
There we go.
so we're good. Then we'll take a picture here. Over here. Like right here. This is a good window. You're fine. You're fine. Everybody get in. Find a window, council members. I would say let's try to get a picture with everybody, but I don't know.
I think we should come down there and go this way.
If you want to. Up to you. It's
Do
your
like a
meeting.
selfie.
Okay, let's get up.
Maybe center.
Come on in. If you're tall, go to the back, yeah? If you're not as tall, go to the front.
Should we center Summer come down this way? We'll get more centered here.
I don't know. I'm gonna get something tall.
We'll get yours.
There. That way, when the talls come in, I can go. Look.
There you go. That works.
Look at me.
Wearing their leather jackets.
Speaks to the pride.
All right, guys.
Everybody in, everybody in. Come on, come on, come on.
Fill in on the side.
Don't be shy. We'll do a pano.
We'll do a panel. Let's stitch it.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Weber State, Weber State.
We're gonna do it from positive.
Yeah, we win.
Would you like to say a few things? Please. Would you like to say a few things? Okay.
Yeah, no.
And all three of you can say something if you want.
I know.
Yeah. If you guys want to just wait.
I'll be here for you.
No. We just want to say thank you so much for recognizing the entire Spirit Squad. We're proud to be from Ogden. We're proud to represent Ogden on the national stage. So thank you so much for recognizing both our cheer and our dance team, the programs, and we really appreciate it. And that's all we really have to say, but thank you, and we're proud to be from Ogden City.
Thanks for coming.
Anything else? I think we need to give them a fight song. Are you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
We are the Wildcats, scratching, snarling. We're gonna win this game. Bow, bow, bow. Upwards and onwards, fighting Wildcats, the pride and honor. On to fame. We'll never quit till we have one. So purple and white will reign. We'll crowd and shout how we wait for we are Weaver State. Weaver State, Weaver State, great, great, great. Weaver State, Weaver State, great, great, great. Weaver State, Weaver State, great, great, great.
I gotta say something.
This thing on? This thing's still on?
Yes.
Cool. It takes a lot to rebuild a program, let alone build it from the ground zero. And a lot of coaches don't have what that takes. And Summer Willis has been doing it for 26 years. So congratulations, Summer. This is all because of you. So great job.
Chair, can I jump in here?
I'm surprised you don't have your suit on tonight.
Yeah, I feel deep regret that I'm not wearing my three-piece purple suit tonight. But if you come back, I'll wear it. So, Summer, I think it was 2016 in Chattanooga when we went to our first FCS playoff game, and that's where I first met you. I was the president of the Wildcat Club, and I just remember talking to you about what an honor it is to have the most successful and accomplished student athletes of Weber State here in this room. I mean, there's no question about it, and it's just so exciting. But it was an honor to serve then in that capacity and to try and support these student athletes and what they're doing. And thank you for all that you did. And I think I remember looking at your bio, and I think we were at Utah State together around the same time. And so pretty cool. So thank you for all that you've done. And just like it was mentioned, to have built this program, it truly is remarkable.
Great. Mayor wants to say something.
I do. I'm trying to say something because I know that this program exists because of Summer Willis, because when I first met Summer, we were both students at Weber State, and this program didn't exist. You built it from the ground up, literally. And I just need to say something on behalf of my wife. She is a huge fan of the work that you guys do. If you don't know, my wife works for the Big Sky. She understands sport. She also understands your sport. And she understands it because she looks into what you guys do. And she tells me every time she was watching your videos, you guys have got big time following online. And I don't think people recognize that in our city, just how significant you guys and your contributions and your achievements are. We're talking about the greatest sports program in the history of this university, the most winningest program, the best athletes, the most consistent record of absolute domination nationally. I watched your performance while you guys were competing this year, and I don't understand the sport the way you do. I saw the difference. There is a difference in your excellence versus anybody else's. There's no close second. I don't think people in this town recognize that. If you need a comparison, think about like Nick Saban in Alabama football. Think of Coach Wooden in UCLA basketball. That's the kind of legacy of winning and domination that this group represents. This is greatness embodied right here. Even better than those examples is probably what he said, right? So just want you guys to know that we see you, we see it, we see what you do and the contribution, the energy you guys have and bring to the city. It's significant, and it's not lost on me, and I can guarantee you it's not lost on my wife. So thank you for being winners.
Any other comments? Wow, this is fun. Can we do this every time?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, thank you very much. You guys don't have to stay, but if you want to, you can definitely stay.
Actually, they do have to stay.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Thank
Are you sure?
Oh, we'll miss her.
Okay, yeah.
By 10 years. That's pretty cool.
Councilmember Myers, I think the average age just went back up.
Yes, it did.
Yes. All right, the last of the folks are leaving. Let's just move on. So next on our agenda is the approval of minutes. We have the joint work session of May 20th, regular meeting of July 1st, closed session of July 1st, and regular meeting of July 8th, 2025. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be correct.
The work session of June 3rd and regular meeting of June 17th. Councilmember Chaburka.
Yes, well, although my list is not quite as long, the meeting was very, very long and just great reading. As far as I'm aware, they're correct to my recollection.
The regular meeting of June 3rd and the special meeting of June 10th and the joint work session of June 17th and the work session of July 1st, 2025. Councilmember Ritchie.
Also reviewed those minutes and found them to be accurate.
And then the regular meeting of May 20th, joint work session of June 20th, joint work session of July 8th, and the closed session of July 8th, 2025. Councilmember Graff.
Yeah, I reviewed all of those meeting minutes, Chair, and found them to be correct to the best of my recollection, and move for adoption of the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Graff, second by Councilmember Chaburka to approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll move on to the reports from administration. We welcome up Jared Johnson.
Thank you for having approval of minutes in between that, because I really don't know how I would have followed up on that directly. That was pretty amazing. Awesome for them. So excited. The request that we have tonight before you is a modification of Title VIII. This is the request to remove the minimum standards portion of Title VIII only, and the approval to put it into Title XI administrative policy. We realize there's been a lot of work that has led up to this. We understand that there's still work to be done. We know you've received comments on both sides, both good and bad. We've tried to go through and answer those, but we know that we still have some individuals that we need to meet with, that we need to go through and answer questions. We also recognize that with the new minimum standards, if they were to go into place as the draft that you've seen, would potentially put some of the businesses out there in a non-conforming use, which is how we anticipate that they would be brought in. So it would not shut anybody down. It's not going to remove anybody. It's not going to kick them out. They would be able to come over in the standard that they are, and then we can work together to look what that moves forward. This request also would bring us more in line, similar to other real estate holdings that the city has, and how we administer those and how we work through those. So I know we've had many work sessions about this. I don't know if there's any more additional questions you'd like me to answer at this time, but that is the request before you.
Any questions? Sorry. Any further questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I do appreciate the work session and the opportunity that we've had to review this and go over the different changes that are being proposed. And as I've said in the past, I also want to just thank airport administration, Mayor Nadolski, and all those involved from the airport community and working this together. I thought it was very interesting when Brian had everyone stand up who was involved in the discussion and then remain standing if they got everything they wanted, and how everyone sat. And so that's where the compromise comes together. And I applaud the efforts to make changes to give the airport the opportunity to be as successful as possible. And that's what I see. I view this as that.
And Chair, I appreciate the work sessions, but I also appreciate airport administration and Jared, along with Mara Brown, meeting with me individually. And in the end, what I came to understand is this is a remnant of our previous form of government before we moved to a strong mayor, strong council form of government. And only recently, in the last armful of years, have we had a professional airport manager to kind of comb through this and uncover these things and bring some attention and ask for some realignment. This is really a move to disentangle policy from ordinance and empower the administration to make some decisions that will benefit Ogden City and our airport. And I thank you all for all your hard work. And I think we've got some assurances in place to have some review of change in policy and feedback around how successful those policy changes are as we move forward. So thanks a lot for your hard work, and look forward to the airport becoming the economic engine that it can be.
Any other comments?
I'll say something. I too echo all the adoration for all those involved with where we're at right now. It's been years, and I think we were in leadership together. I was with Chair White, and we pleaded with former administration to find an airport manager. Please bring us in a proper airport manager, and for years, we have tried to figure out a way to improve the airport, and it always seemed to come at the expense of another area of the airport. And I was so impressed today when we were in the work session when Brian said, "Someone I would consider a friend of the airport." That's not been a phrase we've heard for a long time. So I appreciate that we have friends of the airport, that we have people that are willing to sit down, have hard conversations, and put on the table what they want the airport to be and how and they're willing to work and sacrifice maybe a little bit of their own goals for the betterment of the airport. So I think a lot needs to be said to Mayor Nadolski and his team, and to Brian and his team, and for those that are willing to sit down and to lead and to be able to put personal or professional differences aside and decide what's best for Ogden and for our airport. I said this weeks ago. I believe if you asked every one of us, if you asked most residents in Ogden, everyone wants the airport to be successful. And I don't know when it was. When we first sat down 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I don't know when it was, a month ago. That's the first time I walked out of a work session and thought we are on the right track. So I applaud everybody on the administration side, everybody from ADP, I believe it's ADP, and the effort. Like I said, I know what was brought to us wasn't your first revision, so thank you for working through that and allowing us to also work through it. And as I mentioned earlier, I believe we can't account for everything, and there will be other revisions, and I appreciate the foresight to allow us the opportunity to have that authority and that ability. So thank you for keeping that as part of our authority. But what was presented and the manner in which it was presented, I wholeheartedly support, and I'm excited about the direction we're going and what the airport can become through this. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just want to acknowledge the heavy lifting that's been done, the compromise, but the not compromising that standard of excellence that we're trying to achieve. And just want to say that the job's well done. And we look forward to a lot more in the future, too. So we'll leave that in your hands in coming days. But thank you.
So there were a couple of items that we talked about today in our work session. I'm just wondering do we need to table this until next week to have those written into ordinance? I think there were two that we wanted to make sure that we have a twice a year reporting, and then the other one was a council member on the advisory committee as an ex officio type position. I'm willing to say, we're not very good at on the fly ordinance changes, so that's why I'm asking, should we table it until next week, or
if we can just add it later, if it's not too challenging, just to add it later.
That's my opinion too, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem doing that. We're not very good at on the fly stuff, so that's.
Yeah.
Well, let's just ask the question of legal down there. Is that something that can be added without further noticing and that kind of thing?
I do have a problem, some legal questions regarding an ex officio member of a council member who's going to take recommendations from the body that they're also a member of, and because all the members of those committees are usually appointed by the mayor himself. So I haven't worked through that. I understand that Salt Lake has some sort of ex officio member that probably is non-voting. I'd just like to look at the details of that to kind of see what the outline of is to make it legal.
Well, let me ask another question then. Maybe this would make it easier. There have been some committees that council staff has been a party to, and maybe that's the approach to take. The only reason I brought it up is because since we do have a divided government, like has been mentioned, and we're making some pretty substantive changes to our normal way of thinking, it would be well to have someone that was able to hear the input firsthand,
sure,
and get it to this body for us to be reactive to. Doesn't necessarily have to be a council member per se, but I thought maybe that could solve it if it was a non-voting member.
I'm confident that there's a way to put a council representative in the center of what's going on. I just don't know exactly what that'll look like yet, but I'm confident that we can get to that goal.
How would you recommend moving forward then? Could we vote on this as is?
But I think so, because as you know, this process is going to be ongoing. There's going to be a next step and a next step to try to update the ordinance. So you'll have other bites of the apple. Mm-hmm. And so maybe what you should do is have that in the next draft of the ordinance, put it in there.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. The semi-annual reporting, could that be added today though?
I'm sorry. Are you gonna make a off-the-cuff amendment today?
Yep.
I suggest you not.
We didn't.
I suggest you don't. I suggest you just make it as part of the next draft.
And I almost wonder where we do know that there's a lot of revisions coming, and this is just the first start. I mean, the semi-annual, at this point, it sounds like we're going to be meeting more than semi-annual over the next year anyways. And so potentially towards the end of this process, maybe we evaluate and see if that's necessary. That'd be my opinion.
That would be fine. I just thinking that whenever we had a meeting at this, the clock would restart anyway.
Oh,
but it's just my thinking.
Yeah.
And I'll just chime in. I agree, Councilmember Ritchie, and I talked to Councilmember Heyer earlier. I think that report is going to be pretty extensive for a while, and I'm not sure we want. I think we need to walk through what exactly we want every 6 months. I don't know if we want the full report every 6 months. So I think it gives us the opportunity to kind of vet through that a little bit more. Because, yeah, like you said, we are taking multiple bites of this apple, and we will have input along the way for, I can't remember the timeline that was presented at first, but it goes in well over the next year, I believe. So we do have multiple opportunities to add some input and put in some suggestions. So yeah.
Great. All right.
Chair, if there isn't any other further discussion, I would make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2025-26.
I'll second. Oh.
I have a motion by Councilmember Ritchie, second by Councilmember Myers to adopt proposed ordinance 2025-26. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka.
Aye.
Councilmember Graff.
Aye.
Councilmember Myers.
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer.
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes.
May I just make a quick comment if that's okay, Chair? I just want to make sure we talked about it in the work session, but if we share information with people for how they can give feedback about this, I don't mind getting emails about it, but hopefully it's on a website or somewhere where people will know who they can contact directly to get their feedback considered. Excuse me.
Yeah. And I look forward to, after we get through some of this process, helping establish a really good, sound strategic plan. So.
And perhaps we could make that request that those changes that we've talked about do make it into the next draft of the ordinance. So.
Okay. All right.
Chair, can I make a comment before we move forward? I want to say first to the council, thank you for your support and for the hard work you put into understanding the proposal and the work that we've put into getting to today. In terms of the items you guys just discussed, just want you to know you have my full support in whatever you decide, and if there's anything I can do to help facilitate it, please let me know. I also want to say that this has been the hardest issue that I've inherited. But I also truly believe it's the most meaningful that I've inherited too. I started in this job with tons of concerns and fears around how to approach this issue. And it turns out if you just ask, there's good people out there. There's just good people that want good things to happen for this town and for that airport. The airport is a community in and of itself. There's just parts of that airport that are just dying to thrive, and there are people that have given their lives to that airport and they want nothing more than to see it absolutely soar. And if you ask those people, listen to the people that are affected by the decisions we make, start there. That's the way. It is the way. They have the real life experience and example to share, and then bringing in the professional staff and asking for their help and getting us to this point. It's been an absolute journey. It hasn't been perfect, right? But was it Councilmember Ritchie? Who was it that made the joke about friend of the airport? It was, did you ever think there'd be a day where we call Ed McKinney a friend of Ogden? I say it jokingly, but I 100% mean it. I consider Ed McKinney a personal friend, and he pushes back on me when I need to be pushed back on, and he supports me when he feels like I deserve it. And I feel the same thing from you guys. It's what makes Ogden work, is that we listen to each other and we give it everything we got, and we don't make it personal. We don't make it political. We make it about the impact. We make it about the results in the future. And, if Washington, D.C. could do just a little bit of that, right, our country would be in a completely different place. And so I just want to tell everybody in the room that's been involved in this project that how far we've come together, and that I thank you for sticking it out, but I thank you for investing in Ogden, investing in that airport, and giving this the opportunity that we all have a chance. There are harder moves coming, I know it. And we're never going to agree on everything. I just don't think it's even possible. But we've got to find a way that we can find out what that collective mass is of support and agreement that will help this airport move forward, make that our path, and just go. I see it. The potential's there. It's an absolutely sleeping giant for Ogden. And we have giants for Ogden in our ranks and in our midst at that airport to help us get there. So thank you to every single one of you from the bottom of my heart, literally from me as a man, not just as a mayor. Thank you. You guys mean a lot to me.
Thanks, Mayor. Just so you know, Breeze Airline just opened up in Lincoln, Nebraska, and if we could figure out how to get Ogden to Lincoln, would be the best thing ever.
For you.
For me. For me.
There's nothing there. Sorry. Conagra left.
You never been to Nebraska. I don't know. Next on our agenda is new business. Steve Burton.
Good evening, Chair White, Vice Chair. I'm going to take just a few minutes and go over the proposed changes to the council's rules and norms document that the council is considering this evening. So as you're aware, this rules and norms document is it provides a framework for how the council conducts business, and it acts as a resource for council member roles and governance procedures that the council can refer to. The council rules and norms document has been in place since 1992, and it's reviewed and updated fairly regularly. The last amendment, as you can see here, was in September of last year. So quickly, I'll just talk about the timeline of these amendments before I get into them. You remember in April, there was a council strategy session where there were some changes discussed about updating the rules and norms to reflect a few changes the council was interested in. And then in July, there was a work session that was held where we discussed those changes. And this evening is where you'll be considering formally amending the rules and norms. So this first change is to the section you can see here describing public input and participation in council meetings. This language is intended to clarify that the council member who's chairing a meeting can adjust public comment time limits. The idea behind this is to help the council manage long agendas and ensure that you're able to get to all the items on an agenda. This is also in the section about public comment. Now, this is more of just a clarification here. Under public comment, there are no PowerPoints allowed, and then we felt it was necessary to clarify that no other media sources like videos were allowed as part of public comment. And as you can see here, this is a new paragraph under the section that talks about social media in the rules and norms. The intent behind this is to clarify that the council should avoid using images of city employees in their campaign materials, specifically employees that are working. The reason behind this is because state code is pretty clear that city employees can't be engaging in political advocacy while they're on the clock during work hours. And so this language helps protect the council and city employees in that situation. And so specifically just avoid, it says avoid using images of city employees in websites and specifically campaign websites.
Chair, could I ask a question about that? So since you've done some
not just yourselves, I guess, not necessarily yourselves, but other employees, police officers, firefighters, because they, they might not be aware that they're being included in that. And like I mentioned, they can't be part of a campaign while they're working.
Sure.
Okay, so under this is under the closed session section of the council rules and norms. And one thing that we discussed previously in the work session is that the council can enter a closed session, closed or executive session as it's otherwise known, from a work session. Now, currently, as they're written, as you can see here, the council only typically does that in a regular meeting like this. But because work sessions are open and public meetings and they're noticed, you can enter a closed session in a work session. And one thing we've seen is there's several other cities that do that, and it helps to keep meetings running efficiently so that you don't necessarily have to just come into this room to open up a public or to open up a closed session just for no reason other than that. And then this is the last change, and this is really a simple one. We noticed in this section of the rules and norms that lists all of the types of items that will be on a council agenda. We noticed that it didn't list advice and consent, so we felt it was appropriate to just go in and list that as an item that you would act on, and list that in order with the other items. And that's the proposed changes. I'm happy to hear your questions or concerns if you have. Yes. So the council rules and norms talk about not voting on major decisions
But what I'm asking you to do is cancel that lease. I want you to take and renegotiate it, put it at a fair market price like Lotus would, and take that money, if you don't need it, give it to Ogden City Schools and use it for the after-school programs for Ogden City children. Because that's what ought to happen. Something good ought to come out of the property that we have. I know of no other developer who gets to lease city property. Maybe you can correct me, but I think that something needs to be done. But I'm going to say, I know these aren't done out in the open, but if you want to let me have a no-cost lease over on that fire department on 3rd Street, I'd be happy to, because I was a donor to Ben as well, just like Mr. Ringwood.
Thanks.
So, again, thanks again.
Numbers up. Laura Lewis, Ogden City resident for, let's see, 73 years. Bring that up. So yeah. Okay, first off, I want to recognize one of your employees. I believe his name was Damien, and he works for the Park Department. I'm having problems with a big tree. He came and looked at it and spent a lot of time talking to me, and it was a very positive experience. So I like to give him credit for that. Next, I'm going to bring this up. I know it's not going to change your minds. It's too late. But I do think that's a bad idea, or at least to allow the chair to decide to change the length of our speaking time unless there's some guidelines, so it remains consistent every time you do it. So for me, I feel like there's been some unfairness based on who gets extra time and who doesn't, what their issue is and what isn't. And so I think you need to have some guidelines so it feels fair when you do this. Also, people take time out of their lives to come down here and speak, and to then not even give them the courtesy of 3 minutes, I think is pretty sad. And I think you would want to know what your constituents are thinking. And shouldn't maybe bring this up, but if you look at the election results, it looks like there's some people that are looking for change. And maybe this would be something you could think about, is listening to us when we come here to talk. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Scott Jensen. I'm here tonight to bring up some concerns on 18th Street. First off, I'd like to start off with communication with the people and the city. I've had different people who want to be involved in development around that area. They've set up meetings with certain people in the city, and some of those people have told me that they've gone to that meeting and those people have never showed. No call cancel, no anything like that. So I'd like that to be concerned or addressed for those people. Another communication issue that we have is me and other businesses and other landowners about the big fire. We were never notified. On our business license, we are supposed to provide emergency contact and everything else. We got no notification. Most of us heard about it on social media. I got to our business and it was just flayed open. No security, no nothing like that. So I consider that a big, big concern, especially for when we're required to have emergency contacts for a situation like that. And then now I want to address a concern for me and the surrounding people about the safety of the fire. I was up here before, concerned about that. And here we are now. I'd like to know why they were allowed to build right on my property line. I addressed that about safety. In the past, when other family members of mine have developed, they were never allowed to build that close unless the other property owner was willing to agree to that type of tolerance. So that's another big concern. During that fire, I worked with the investigators all week, helping them out. And I'm just really disappointed of what happened. We had structure damage. We lost a structure. We lost several pieces of equipment. We have several damaged pieces of equipment. And now I got to put my life on hold to try and work through this, especially when I come up here before and was concerned about this type of situation that could happen. So I would just like you all to know that and see what you can do for the people in that area. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, anyone else in the... All right, let's go online. Hisato.
Good evening. Heath Sato, Ogden resident. Regarding the proposed amendments to Title VIII, while I understand the need to update policy, it does raise some concerns for me about how we're continuing to concentrate more and more authority into the mayor's office. I know Ogden operates under a strong mayor system, but I've been critical of just how strong that system is in the past, and we're doing more and more shifting. And I'm only saying this because it's not in isolation. It hasn't really been discussed yet outside of the July 15th agenda. But that agenda had the mayor's office seeking much more control over decisions regarding the arts. I hope that it receives more discussion before being pushed through without public comment. So, while in general, while considering these changes, I would urge you to work to preserve more transparency and strengthen, not weaken, the role of advisory bodies and ensure that the council retains meaningful oversight. Efficiency should never come at the expense of accountability and community voice. I highly recommend the council use its right to discuss this with outside legal counsel if it has not already. As for the public hearings issues, it's more than a little ironic that you didn't take public comment on that issue tonight before you made your final vote. I'm going to basically repeat what I said the last time this came up. We will only be reducing the amount of time spent on comments per person or in total when there are a lot of people at a council meeting. And when there are a lot of people that want to speak, there are a lot of people that have never been to a council meeting, a lot of people that rarely show up at council meetings. And this is clearly something that's very important to them. I believe it's vital to give every person their chance to speak their full 3 minutes if they need to. I've been speaking to you, the council, for 7 or 8 years now, and from what I've heard from many Ogden citizens, it leaves them with a bad feeling about their government when the public is being asked for more input and more involvement, and then when they finally do get involved, they end up getting cut short sometimes. It feels disrespectful to Ogden residents. I believe, as the public, we should allow people with limited time to move to the front of the line, but I believe everyone deserves the respect of being heard in front of the entire council at once when something really matters to them, and 3 minutes already feels too short to too many people. Thanks for thinking about this, and I really would ask that you reconsider that part of your changes in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Heath. Let's go online to Teresa's iPhone 2.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. This is Teresa Bramwell. Thank you for the opportunity for me to call in on Zoom to this meeting. It's an excellent opportunity for citizens to be able to participate when they can't be there in person. I wanted to bring up some problems that I've had since the last time the city council met last Tuesday. When I was in Ogden to take the garbage out at my home, I found some homeless people passed out on my porch of my home. And I called 911 because none of the movement or driving up in my car and slamming the door and walking around roused them in any way. So I figured that they were probably on drugs, and I called 911 and asked for the police. And very quickly, what I received instead of the police were 3 fire trucks and 2 paramedics. And they arrived within only a few minutes. I mean, it was very quick. And the firemen got out of the fire truck, and I said, well, do you feel like we should wait until the police get here? And he said, no, I need to go make sure that they're breathing. And so he proceeded up onto the porch and woke up the people that were sleeping there, and had a conversation with them for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then very quickly, they both jumped up and very quickly moved off the porch and started walking towards me. And I said, you know, what are you doing? What's your name? And the guy started yelling at me, throwing his hands up in the air, screaming at me, and then proceeded to move very quickly down the street. So I got back on the phone with 911, and I said, now I'm following these people because I'm still waiting for the police to arrive. And as soon as I got down to about 24th and Monroe, so a block and a half away, I was met by 6 police cars, probably the entire police department, and I hope they were taken into custody. But my concern is why, when I called and asked for the police, what I received was the fire department. I think that was not useful, and it exacerbated the situation and made it more dangerous for me. And I wanted to bring up that President Trump signed an executive order on July 21st called Ending Crime and Disorder on America's Streets. And that executive order is specifically regarding homeless people, drug use, and mental illness. And I feel like Ogden could use some attention in that area.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else online? Anyone else? All right. Thank you. So let's just kind of go through these. Mr. Allen, I do appreciate, and Councilmember Chaburka, if there's other people that you would like to have with us. Yeah. If you could meet, that'd be great. I think I could be wrong. There might be other issues around, or other development agreements around the property that you're talking about, Carrie. I don't know, Jared, maybe you could talk to him afterwards to talk to him about what we did there. Laura, I was just looking at, thank you for acknowledging the
I meant to apologize about Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, thank you. I actually, yeah, that's okay. Not everyone, it's not, the slogan for Nebraska, it's not for everyone, so I get it. It's okay. But regarding that, I just want you to know that we have, as a council, talked extensively about the guidelines around the timelines, and I appreciate the feedback. There were several discussions around that, and some people wanted more and some people wanted less, and so I think doing better up front is better. Trying to tell people, if we have a 2-minute timeline, then it's better than not having it at all, which is happening in many city councils across the country right now.
Chair, can I throw a little something else in there? You're limited to 3 minutes and maybe 2 minutes, and maybe it'll be pared even back further if we've got lines out the door and down the stairs and around the block. In my experience thus far in a year and a half on the council, I think we've gone through this one time where we've had to limit the amount of public comment. So this isn't a big deal. And I'm sympathetic to Heath. One, and I will say this is a living document. It does get revised often, as was pointed out by Steve as we began the presentation. And two, it's not the same as speaking in here, but I will talk on the telephone for hours with anybody that wants to call me and I answer every single email that I receive. Test me. So your access to City Council is not limited to a public hearing or an opportunity to speak publicly within this chamber. Please, we are begging for engagement with this community, and the community is welcome to call and email. That's why we have our numbers posted on the website, and that's why we have our email addresses posted publicly. So look for other ways to share your voice with those of us that represent you.
Thank you. I think, Scott, you're still here? Yeah. Mr. Jensen, it would be great if you could also talk to Jared as well. I know that there's building standards that go along with the building, and as a quick note that the fire department came, Chief Slater came this morning, or it seems like this morning, the beginning of our works, or the end of our work session, to talk about what the city is doing and the stance that the city's taking around fires. Yeah, Heath, I think we will have more conversations around the arts. And Teresa, thank you. I don't know where the glitch was that they sent fire and not police, but we can sure relay that to the dispatch folks. Any other comments that I missed?
I was just going to say, I'm sorry to hear that your property was affected by the fire.
Yeah.
Mr. Jensen, I'd be happy to talk with you again about that if I can, but I think there's some administrative folks that can also support, as Chair White mentioned. And then I just have to make a comment about Teresa's comment, because I feel certainly you don't want to come home and find a situation where there's people on your property, etc. But I know that I've definitely worked with our public safety personnel, as well as people at the hospital, and also in the homeless services provider space. And I'm assuming what happened was that, and I'm sorry, I have a frog in my throat today. I'm assuming what happened was that they might have thought the people were in danger of some kind, and so they sent the first responders, the EMTs, first. I'm sorry that they had to have that negative interaction, and I'm happy the police were able to help in the end. But I'm guessing that's what happened, because I think in the right way, our community tries to make sure first people are safe and not experiencing any physical, negative physical responses, because that's the experience I've had when I've seen people in that situation. So sorry about that for you.
All right. Just making sure.
Chair, can I say something?
Yeah.
In regards to Laura Lewis and to Heath Sato, I don't remember when it was, a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe, when we discussed the changes to public comment, and I think we all agree it's not lost on us that when people do come here, it does take a lot of courage, and not everyone does this every week, and not everyone likes to come and get up. And so when they do get up, it is a big step. And as Councilmember Graff mentioned, we do want to hear from our constituents. We do want to hear what they're facing, what they're dealing with, or what their challenges are, or what their successes are. So we do welcome that. And I might be wrong, but there's been times in the past where we've considered maybe limiting from 3 to 2 minutes or whatever it may be, and we didn't have a real clear-cut way to do that without just saying, "Hey, we're going to limit time." And it seemed, that to me seemed more disingenuous. This having this in there doesn't mean we're going to do it, and it doesn't mean we're going to do it every time or any time. It allows the chair the opportunity to do that after dialogue and after conversations and after we feel that it's merited or warranted. So I know the optics of it that looks like we don't want to engage or we don't want to hear from the public, but that's not the case, and that wasn't the dialogue that we had when this was mentioned. It simply allows us. It's just another tool to allow the chair to properly run a meeting and whatever that looks like. But again, I like Councilmember Graff said, I don't see this happening. It hasn't happened yet, and I don't see it happening. But I do, and I'm not saying I myself, I'm saying there are many, if not all up here that truly understand your concerns, and Heath's also, that this is the venue that is provided for residents to come and share with us and speak with us. So we take that serious. And so, I don't want I know the optics looks like we're trying to get rid of it, but we're not. We're just allowing another tool in our toolbox to properly run meetings. So that's all.
Great. Comments from the mayor?
I missed some of the public comment. My apologies. The one that I did catch about Teresa's response from the fire department, I guess, is that I know when you call in to dispatch, the dispatchers listen to keywords and there's protocols based on the information provided. And I'm guessing that the protocols based on the responses from the caller were to send out medical, probably concerned about potential for overdose. And so I'm glad that our medics responded, got there quickly, took their responsibility seriously, and ensured life safety. And it's just that it is an example of the risks that they do take, and it's not ideal. But I'm also thankful that OPD was also dispatched and did take action, whatever action that was. I don't know. But I'm guessing that's why. And hopefully the system worked at the end of the day. But if there's refinements, I'm sure we could look into the call if we had more detail on the day and time. So thanks.
Council members? So I see Kirk sitting in the chambers here. So we have been having quite a few power outages, and I don't know if you would like to come up and address why we're having those. And So we got quite a few calls from constituents across the city. A lot of power outages. One was related to the fire, which I can understand that one, but others have been just seemingly random, mid-afternoon, not super long, but could you explain a little bit why that's happening and how we can help as a city to make sure that doesn't happen much more?
And so the phenomenon that the residents are seeing really kind of happened about 3 months ago in Current. And what's happened is...
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Can you introduce yourself and let us know who you represent?
Yeah, my name is Kirk Nigro. I'm with Rocky Mountain Power, regional business manager for Rocky Mountain Power here in Ogden, as well as Weber and Davis County.
Thank you.
You bet. Not a problem at all. And so the phenomenon that you're seeing is, as of we've got into the shoulder month of spring and fire season, dryness and temperatures have risen, we have implemented protocols in our system. We call them enhanced safety settings in areas that have elevated fire risk. And so one of the areas that you're discussing is on our McKay 13 circuit, which is feeding the area around Mount Ogden Golf Course area, I think is one of the prime areas. A portion of that circuit has been deemed an elevated fire risk zone. So we've enhanced our settings that if there is a trip, they're very sensitive. And the reason why is we don't want our assets to be a contributor to a wildfire. And obviously everyone, as you brought up with the Willard Peak fire, luckily we didn't see structures or life endangered. But with the fuel, trees in certain areas that we have, dry temperatures, we are putting safety of the communities and their customers first over reliability. And so what that means is we enhance those settings. If a branch hits, it is going to, I think we've even had some singeing of leaves that were close to a line that caused a voltage sag. That will trigger that enhanced safety setting to prevent an ignition of a fire from our assets or our equipment. Now that can be somewhat frustrating. And obviously in this one area on the McKay 13, we have had our engineers involved as well as troubleshooters to look into that situation. One thing we have implemented is a recloser. So on that circuit, there was about 2,000 customers that were being impacted with that setting. We've been able to put a recloser now that's only affecting 200 customers, the ones that are in that elevated fire risk zone along the mountainside of the golf course. So unfortunately, the 200 still are going to have those higher settings. However, we want to ensure that there's no ignition or fires that are caused with a downline or something like that could cause issues. With that as well is we're in the process of getting our traffic permitting, where we're going to have a troubleshooter go along that line and remove vegetation that's close to the lines so that prevents vegetation that's causing some of those intermittent type issues, as well as in the next 2 to 3 months, our official vegetation management will go along the entire circuit and bring trees back from a 3-year standard. So they'll remove and kind of clear that area to increase reliability. So again, we apologize that it is impactful. I kind of likened it to after 9/11, going through airport security was not as much fun. However, we want to ensure that we're not seeing wildfires that are consuming our communities.
So some of the customers I'm hearing from, or some of our residents that are customers, are around 12th Street. Is that the same?
12th, and I haven't heard too much. It was more last summer that we had some issues with 12th Street. We had 2 impacts in our transmission lines by we call them dig-ins, but it was actually some cement trucks that actually impacted our lines. Obviously concerning. Fortunately, no one was injured. I know on one of those cement trucks, it actually blew off all 6 wheels. On our transmission lines, they're 46,000 volts on our 46 kVA lines. And so it's a lot of power. We definitely want to be, people be safe around our assets and look at those. And then we also had a homeless fire that went, again, impacting into our systems. We do have automatic shutoffs as fires impact into the assets. Again, we're going to de-energize, which is what the Willard Peak fire, it went through 2 major transmission lines, impacted 31,000 customers. We had those shut off until the firefighters said it is okay for us to re-energize those lines. Again, we're apologize that you're being impacted, and you're going to be a little more impacted as we're dealing with kind of the current climate that we have. And in situations that we wouldn't think is fathomable, you look at a downtown fire in LA. Who would have ever thought that we'd have a wildfire issue in the middle of Los Angeles? You look at the situations of Maui, California. We're in kind of a different climate, and we're trying to ensure that we're putting safety first.
Is there anything that the city can do or partner with you? Are there areas where we can?
I would say that, fortunately with the city is we have a great partnership. We meet with the city on a regular basis, and as these concerns are given, we have good dialogue of saying, hey, these are issues, these are concerns. And I definitely want to let the Ogden City residents know that those concerns are taken in. And we definitely are investigating those, and we're looking into those. I think there was a comment that they're not receiving information from Rocky Mountain Power. I hope that's not true. We're open and transparent, and we definitely look into that. And we're definitely balancing risk versus reliability. And in the past, we put reliability first. Our Senior Vice President Kurt Mansfield said reliability was everything. We have been able to tone that back because we're saying safety trumps reliability, and we will err on the side of being safe versus, sometimes it's uncomfortable. And I definitely understand the frustration of that.
And I appreciate you leading into safety, and I certainly understand the circumstances that come to bear when we are dry and hot. And your attention to safety is very much appreciated. I live up in that area, and it doesn't just happen in the summer. I'll get up in the morning and know that the power's been off because my coffee hasn't brewed. And I've had residents call, and this is just for your feedback. I didn't experience this, Kirk, but they call Rocky Mountain Power and get the runaround and no answers. So they find some traction with the Public Utilities Corporation, however, and it would be better if it came from Rocky Mountain Power. And we've got a population of people now that are working remotely. And when the power isn't stable, they're not working. And they're disconnected from the technology that they need to do their work or the meetings that they need to be engaged in, and it really makes their decisions. I talked to one person in specific, moved here intentionally 5 months ago because they could work remotely, and now they're wondering if they've made the right choice because of the instability of the power that they've experienced, and obviously it's been hot, and that's the case. And I also heard you say the McKay circuit?
Correct.
Okay, has gone from 2,000 to 200 people that would be negatively affected by intermittent power on that. So thank you. And if there's anything you can do to communicate with the McKay circuit consumers, that might help your case too.
Understood.
Kurt, I do have a comment or a couple comments and then a question. But for members of our council, I think they need to know how engaged and involved you are in the community. And out and about, a mover and a shaker. So I just commend you for that and being available and a listening ear for a lot of concerns as, we bring issues to you with Rocky Mountain Power. So thanks for being that spokesperson, that voice locally for us to be able to reach out to you. So thanks very much. As far as that circuit area there by Mount Ogden Park, can you kind of describe the demographics of what area that those 200 homes are still in? Because I think I have the privilege of being in that area. So
yeah, it's definitely the homes that are skirting around Mount Ogden Golf Course, and so it goes along. I think pretty much. My geography, I'm going to get it wrong, but basically kind of where I always think of Buchanan. My uncle used to live up on there, but essentially that far north that skirts around the golf course along the west side down around the south side is kind of the area of impact. And I do want to let you know that this is kind of new for utilities. We've been in operation in Utah for over 100 years. And these conditions, we are using assets that have been proven, that have been prudent, and that have been reviewed. As you said, and someone brought up the Public Utility Commission. We are a regulated utility, and we are reviewed by constituents. We're reviewed by, on a consistent basis. And so the whole utility industry is really kind of grappling with these new conditions that have not been foreseen. And sometimes I liken it that we are doing some kind of mechanics on our engines while in flight. Flying a plane. And so we are learning and we are listening and we're trying to find best practices and ways that we can improve things. And that's similar to putting a recloser in. We're not going to penalize the entire circuit, only the areas of high concern. And so we are making investments. We are working on trying to make this less of an issue for those that are trying to live. We understand how valuable power is. And we want to provide that. And so we're trying to figure out how we can do that most safely as well as implementing best practices. But we're definitely going to put safety first.
Kurt, one other follow-up question.
Sure.
As far as notification goes, when the power goes out, I often get an email. I don't track how often it is, but perhaps and I get the email on my phone. So even though my power's out and I don't have access to a computer at my home, I'm still receiving those notices. Is there any way to encourage other users to receive those kind of notices? I don't know if that addresses an issue that Councilman Graff brought up.
I mean, it is difficult because we're limited to the information we have on hand. Not all, customers will keep the information updated and current.
And so that can be a challenge on our side we notify based on the information that we have. Not everybody has the information current. So I know, Sean, you're pretty thorough in keeping things current and correct. So you're getting that information. But I do want to let you know that, one thing I did miss on the, enhanced safety settings as well is typically when we have an outage in typical settings, it'll trip and we will automatically reclose it to try to hold the circuit. If it trips again, we will reclose it, and we do that 3 times. In enhanced settings, as soon as it trips, we do not reclose. So you see a longer outage on things that would typically just be kind of a blip, maybe might mess up your alarm clock type thing. And again, that is to ensure that we don't have a downline that would cause ignition when we reclose it. We don't want to have that ignition in that area. And again, we do an extensive amount of research on identifying those areas. We looked at 30 years of data. We have 6 meteorologists on site that are looking at dry conditions, projected forecasts and things that such. Done Monte Carlo simulations to say, hey, what are areas that could be a potential hazard? And a lot of science and research has been in saying that this could be a potential area of consequence.
This would be a good article for the Standard Examiner to publish, just your information you're sharing. So thank you.
I appreciate the information that you're sharing. And my next question is trying to gather just a little bit more information.
Sure.
When this happens, my phone still works, which I'm thankful for because I get all the Ring message board notifications that people put on their multiple reasons why the power went out, anything from a UFO landing to a bird, whatever. So, but a lot of them say there was a loud boom and then the power went out. When this trips or when it goes off, is there a noise associated? Would residents hear it, or is there no?
They're going to hear it if a fuse. It depends on what. I mean, and it's a complex system.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, a blown fuse, you're going to hear something.
Okay.
Sometimes, especially light rain, which we've experienced some light rain. What that will sometimes is there'll be contaminants that are on the pole. The light rain kind of spreads those contaminants and then can create a phase-to-phase contact, which we will get a pole fire. Sometimes on those, they can be kind of definitely noisy, especially if there's a transformer on the line, may blow the transformer.
Okay.
Or, again, it's there's never ever any sure way of knowing what's occurred until we get a troubleshooter on site to look at what's happened. And so it can be the world, if that makes sense. Sometimes I'll think, I think this is what's going to be, and it's not.
I appreciate it. I understand you can't. It's not the same thing every time, but it is. I didn't think when I was on the city council that I would be people calling me about why their power's out, and people do.
Yep.
So the more information we have, the better. So I appreciate that.
You bet.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Chair, can I make a comment before Kirk sits down? I want to thank Kirk. You've been a fantastic partner and supporter for us. I'm one of the 200 for sure. And so, just yesterday we had to replace our startup capacitor. We just were surging constantly in really sensitive area. So our AC was out, and it's becoming a challenge for our area, but I recognize the reason you're doing it. And what you shared reminded me a lot about the cost of these wildfires and the litigation responsibility for those that are involved. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about that in past fires in other areas around the liability. So I appreciate not just why you're doing it, but I appreciate it because we're in a moment right now in our city and in our state. It's dry out there, and we're at risk, and we're going through a lot of fires, a lot of grass fires. Our fire department is always a busy department, but they are really busy this year. And it's the dry conditions that are really contributing the most. But I just wanted to say that our Rocky Mountain Power is an enormous organization, and it feels a lot smaller knowing Kurt. And the day that we had the wildfire up on north, the Willard Peak fire, that apparently, if you read anything online, is not anywhere near Willard Peak. That was a regional emergency. It was regional because that power that they had to put down those were major transmission lines, and your phone must have been ringing off the hook. Knowing your role at Rocky Mountain Power and your community engagement, you're the first person people call. And he picked up on the first try, and our public works director reached out immediately asking, what's the situation? We recognized, obviously, there's something going on. And the outage went all the way through to Roy, I think, to portions. And that was something that was clearly necessary. But it just goes to show that Kurt Nigro is always making himself available to us. And I know that there's a lot of frustration out there from people for what we're going through. But I just wanted to recognize good deeds when they're done. And you have continued to be the guy that answers the phone for us. So when people reached out to us and said, show up your city council meeting, they're really frustrated, I can reach out and say, we don't manage the power here, but we do have access to the organization, and you're the guy. To me, you are Rocky Mountain Power, so thank you for being that person for us.
And we're not just limited to city leaders. If the community wants a workshop, they want a town hall meeting or something to have a discussion, we're willing to show up and to understand, listen to the concerns. And hey, I mean, we live, play, and work in this community as well. And I've been impacted about, I think the power people are the worst ones when we are dealing with an outage, because we're like, well, what's going on? And then we start driving around, and then I had the epiphany. I had my PPE on, I had a hard hat on, I had a vest on, and again, I'm a regional business manager. I'm not a union. I'm not allowed to touch anything. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I'm one of those people just standing around not doing anything while we need work to get done, because I was busy investigating what was happening, impacting me. So I definitely understand not having power. Yeah, we don't realize how wonderful it is until it's not available to us. And so we are definitely trying to do everything we can. And if there's things that we can do for Ogden residents that allow them to feel that we are engaged, we definitely are. And I'm willing to set up whatever meetings or discussions with anyone about their concerns.
Great. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Chair, I've got a little input. My work is very sensitive to the power also, and has been forever, and as most people's is. But years ago, when I was not able to tolerate the power going out, I bought a backup generator. And so to expect and to be angry at Rocky Mountain when the power goes out is a little futile, because they're doing their best, But I do think that people ought to look into those remedies if their concerns are that they've got to have power all the time. Backup batteries, battery walls, or backup generators, battery walls, things of that nature can get them over the hump on those things. And I think maybe you could address this if you know. I think there is some incentives for battery walls along with solar systems that people could employ. Okay, so that's, if somebody really has to have some backup battery, that's a solution that they could contact Rocky Mountain Power and look into.
We might have to come.
Yeah, in order to get public to hear you, you're going to have to be over here.
And we do have large industrial customers that they can't, they lose $500,000 on an outage, so they have backup generation to prevent that. And again, I understand that as your the statement is that it's a cost to consumers, and so we are doing everything we can to have a reliable system. It's just we're kind of with kind of the dryness and the wildfire type seasons that we're going to see, and again, those settings, once the fall hits and things cool down, we'll remove those settings. So it's just kind of kind of on those shoulders of the fire season when things are getting dry, we're going to try to ensure that we have a little safer for our communities. Yeah, I mean, if it's a must-have, there are definitely other options as well as on batteries. We do provide incentives on those as well. RockyMountainPower.net, and then you can look under incentives on the site, and it'll outline everything that we have available.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the area that was out of power from about 2 to 10:20, I believe it came back on, and but my generator was running for me, so I had a lot of neighbors that were charging phones at my house because of one thing or another. But I just think that we've got to.
What's your address? Because
got to take some personal responsibility.
I don't have a battery backup generator, something.
Well, it is something that people can use, and I think that there's, we got to take some responsibility too, because I don't think you can expect that the power will never go out. It's going to go out for some reasons, sometimes.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll stay here until you excuse me. Make sure I don't miss any other questions.
Unless there's more
The
questions.
incentive information was really good. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks. All right. Any other comments from council members? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilmember Graff to adjourn. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to the next Special Redevelopment Agency meeting of August 19th. I'll give it a second here.
My 8 3/4-month pregnant neighbor came over. We gave her a big thing of ice, put her in the lazy boy, put her Poor gal.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the Special Redevelopment Agency meeting of August 19th, 2025. Please note that all board members are present. First up is our approval of minutes of the special meeting of May 20th, regular meeting of June 10th, and the special meeting of June 17th, 2025. Board Member Myers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have reviewed the minutes from May 10th, May 20th, June 10th, and June 17th, 2025, and they appear correct to the best of my ability, knowledge, and I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion by Board Member Myers, second by Board Member Ritchie. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I guess to approve the minutes, sorry. This is a voice vote. All in favor? Yes. Ayes. Comments from the Executive Director?
None this time, thank you.
Comments from board members? All right, next on our agenda is an opportunity to go into a closed session to talk about one of the 7 items listed.
Chair, I'd make a motion that we adjourn into closed session for one of those 7 items.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Board Member Ritchie. This is a roll call vote.
Board Member Graff.
Aye.
Board Member Myers.
Aye.
Board Member Ritchie.
Aye.
Board Member Blair.
Aye.
Board Member Chaburka.
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer.
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes. We will be adjourning from our closed session. Thank you.